Okay. So have you ever really thought about why you're doing the business? That's where we're going to go tonight. And I'm going to start by sharing how I got here. So picture this, mom of four, really tired. My fourth one is 4 months old. And my typical was sitting on the couch. My 3 kids at the time, probably 5, 3, and a 1.5-year-old. Hi, girls. They're sitting on the couch. I'm nursing a baby, and I'm on my phone scrolling Facebook, and I just have them plugged in front of the TV because I am that exhausted mom that cannot get off the couch and do the things I want to do with my kids. So as I'm continuing scrolling, what do I find? My friend Allison, who's posting about the pink drink, the one thing that she says is energy. I'm like, whoa, that's what I need is some energy. So I call my friend because I know she's nursing her daughter at the time. And I was nursing, obviously, my 4-month-old and thought, hey, I need to learn the details. I need to understand what these products are about. So I've got to get on the phone with her. She explains to me they're plant-based. They're everything that I would want, non-GMO, safe for me, safe for baby. And she had it approved by her pediatrician and OB. That right there helped me with some third-party validation, and that's when I started on the pink drink. Soon after that, I was starting to see those non-scale victories, which I was looking for, of less coffee, more energy, and I was gaining a lot of happiness back in my life that I didn't know I was missing. The mood swings are gone, and guess who noticed? The one and only, my husband. Picture this time. He's headed upstairs. This is our every single night. He's going upstairs, comes home from work, and I send the kids running up after him screaming, and I stay downstairs because what do I have? Energy? No, I'm still on the couch, or maybe I'm fixing dinner. You're not sure what you're gonna get when he came home from work. But he goes upstairs, send the kids. But this one night was different. It was about 3.5 weeks into the pink drink. Put the baby on my hip, head upstairs. I'm walking down our hallway, and our bedroom at the end of our house was at the far end. He's standing in the doorway, so it's basically his silhouette. I walk down the hallway, and I'm like, baby on the hip, smiling, and he looks at me, and he's like, first thing he says was, I think your thighs are getting thinner. Well, hey, that makes any woman happy. And then he said, what are you doing up here? Like, why are you here? I'm like, well, aren't I supposed to be? I hadn't realized how long it had been since I'd actually shown my husband that I was happy that he was home. That was my life. I wasn't happy when my husband came home. I was tired. I was exhausted, and I needed my life back. I got some energy. He noticed I was happy, and that is when our journey started. So, if your why doesn't make you cry, that's what we're going to work on tonight. And I will tell you, my training that I went to last week, this was only the beginning of how the why unfolds. And I will tell you that I cannot tell that story still without crying. And I could have told this story 1,000,000 times before that training, and it never would have made me cry until I realized how deep my why was for this business and this team and my family. And so what I want tonight is, yes, we're going to go through a little bit of PowerPoint. We're going to talk about it, but I want you guys to be sitting there thinking what your why is. And if you don't know, that's okay. I don't expect you to get off of this call and be ready to cry about your why. I don't. I know it's going to take time, but my why has evolved so much that I have to go back and tell you guys how it started, because that didn't used to make me cry. It didn't, because that was my normal. And that's what I used to say. And I used to be very happy and proud and excited when I shared it. But I lost my connection with it. It became a story I told every day to every customer, to every ambassador, that it was verbiage that I just threw out. I had no connection with it, no emotional connection with my why and with my story. And it wasn't until this last training, and what you're going to get from me tonight is just bits and pieces of it. But I can tell you that if you can focus on it, it will change your business, and it will change how you move throughout your day and throughout your Plexus journey. So we're going to just jump into a quick PowerPoint so I can stay on task and not cry so much. if that's possible. Hold on. All right, hopefully you guys can see this. Do you guys see the bar on the next side, or can you just see the whole PowerPoint? Someone thumbs up. Is this good? Can you see it? Yeah? Okay. Obviously, we're going to focus on the why tonight. And this is something that I'd done last week. I'd done the challenge, and Christina and Tara and Becky and Stephanie, they all participated in it, shared their why, and done some reach outs about it. But there's a video on there, and we're going to talk about it at the end of this training, or I'm going to give you the link, that really talks about how you figure out your why and some like actual science and details behind it to make it make more sense to you. So when you know why you do what you do, even on the toughest days, even the toughest days become easier. And I think I've done this before in coaching calls. I'll tell people, when you're stuck and you're in a rut, if you just go and do a little bit of work, you get out of it. Like, there are nights that I just want to go sit on the couch. I'm tired. The kids have been sick or whatever. I'm exhausted. But if I get in my office at 8:30 to do something, it'll be 11:30, and I'm like, gosh, I got to go to bed. But I'm getting into a routine, and I'm loving what I'm doing. So you just must define your why before you can move to the what and the how. All right, hold on. Let's see if I can. There we go. How many of you have felt stuck or feel stuck? It happens. If you aren't fully working your business because your why isn't deep enough when you're stuck, okay? And I can attest to that. I've been stuck twice. I sat at Senior Gold for 9 months, and I sat at Senior Ruby for 14 months. Both of those, I was stuck. However, those were huge growth, times for me in my business. Do I expect to get to the top in 2 years? No, I'm already 3 years in the business. But I also know that those times I was stuck made me look at why I'm here and why I'm still going after this, right? And here now as an Emerald, why am I here? What am I still going after? I still need to know my why, because it's very easy to just say, okay, I've arrived. Like, let me just sit here and be happy with being an Emerald. But to tell you the truth, it's not okay to just sit here and be okay being an Emerald. Have you ever heard the phrase, it's lonely at the top? I say this all the time. This is great to be here, but I remember going to my first leaders retreat alone, and the second year I took 2, and this year we had 11, I think, 10 or 11. So there's growth. That at leaders retreat feels really good. But I went to Hawaii alone, like just me this year. Next year, I fully intend to be taking people with me on this team. I want to be at Tamara Holloway, who has 45 jewels in Hawaii, right? What? That's crazy. But that's what I want. That's my why. There's a huge drive, and it's no longer about me, okay? What happens? We don't work like we should, so we beat ourselves up because of it. I know how that goes. We have mom guilt. We have wife guilt. We have work guilt. We have plexus guilt, okay? We can start to feel like a failure, and we all of a sudden lose joy in why we're doing plexus. And if you're in those feelings, we need to have a conversation about your why, because you will not be able to pull yourself out of that, especially now. It's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it's the winter. There's a lot of things that will distract you and keep pulling you away from that why. But I don't want you to come January and say, oh, New Year's resolutions. I want to be successful with plexus. I really want to give it my go. Why wait till January? Find that why out now, especially when we're having back office issues and there's not a lot we can do. Let's work on our whys, okay? This is a vicious cycle, and it's not fun. I've been there. And there is potential to stop leading, which is not lucrative. Stop leading as in if you have a team. If your why isn't big enough, you will stop. Each ambassador should know that their why will evolve, okay? It drives your motivation. Your why drives your motivation. Have you ever heard from motivation, action comes first, then the feelings? That's like one of my sticky notes on here, on my little area, is motivation, the action first, then the feelings, okay? You have to have the why to create the action. Otherwise, there's no purpose for reaching out to people and really trying to grow yourself. It allows you to stay focused on your business, push to achieve your goals. You may start the beginning of the month and be like, I want 3 customers, or I want to go silver, or I want 500 PV, or I want 1,000 PV. I want to be on that leaders board. You know, if we post leaders boards every month, and sometimes that feels really good to be a part of something that is a leader, like you being on top of something, the top of the leaders board. Sometimes those feel good. If that's what it is, then have a goal, but you have to have a why to drive you to reach that goal. Otherwise, it's just another thing that you put on a to-do list, and you're either going to check it off or you're going to move it to next month's to-do list, because that's what I do every night in my phone with my reminders. If it doesn't get done, I just move it to the next day, right? That's how we're trained. That's what we do. Why are you working this business? Leaders must know the whys of the leaders on their team. And I can tell you probably on maybe a handful, could be less, the whys on my team. I have over almost 2.5 years. We're over, I think over 850, almost 900 people on this team. We currently have 450 active that order almost every month, every other month kind of thing. We have about 30 people that work this business. And I know the goals. I know what people want. I hear I want emerald. I hear I want to be in Hawaii. I hear I want to be a diamond, but I don't know your why. So I want to know your why, because if I don't know your why, how can I lead you and how can I redirect you, right? And if you are a leader of a team, how can you direct them if you don't really know why they're here? A lot of us, first and foremost, we started here for our health, okay? In sometimes during this journey, our health doesn't stay great, or we gain a little weight because we get off track. Our supplements don't keep us where we want to be. They're not magic. Or we start eating and drinking like crazy, and then we just don't feel very good. In those moments, you have to have a why strong enough to keep taking your products, because you know either you're going to feel good again because you did before, or you're going to feel good because you know consistency and you know how to get there. You can have 2 whys. You can have a product why and a business why, and I have both. So we need to figure out what that is as a leader for our teams. We need to use this guide to use the reason not to, and use your why to overcome this obstacle and move forward in your business. So why not, right? Look for the moments when your ambassadors are losing hope. I can tell you, I know when everyone loses hope. You guys can tell when I lose hope. Can you not? Like, someone shake your head. When I'm in a funk, or my kids are sick, or I'm not posting for a week, I'm in a funk too. We all do it. Me being an emerald does not make me any different than the rest of you. I have a crazy life too, and I can lose hope just as the next person. You guys, I wanted to quit at Senior Ruby, right? Like, my why needed to be revisited. And seriously, my why, I needed that training I had last week. Like, you have no idea. I needed that training. I needed to hear this. And I'm hoping that if one person needs to hear this tonight on this call or on the recording, that it will change your business too. When you know your whys with your team, you can emotionally connect with them and invest in their relationship to help redirect them in their business. You know, when you're having a funk, or you're like, oh, I don't think I'm going to earn it, or I just don't think I'm going to do it. It's just stop talking about the business and go back to that why and ask them, what will it mean if you don't make $1,000 this month? You know, you need it for this car payment, or a $500. Like, what would it mean if you didn't hit this goal? The why not of doing what you're supposed to be doing can help you get back to that why. Okay. It enables the upline to support their leaders properly when we know. And I obviously can't do a coaching call and a why call with every single one of you. No. But I know that my leaders can. I know they're fully equipped to do so. So you need to be reaching out to your sponsor and making sure that you're having these why calls and conversations. But it doesn't start with the sponsor reaching out to you and be like, okay, what's your why? Let's talk about it. Like, I'm here setting the precedent of why is important, and we are moving into kind of a transformation into really knowing our whys, because I know it will change your business. But I'm also here to tell you, you're the one that has to be the driving force of it. Okay? Excuse me. We need to use this guide for our leaders. Oh, whoops, sorry, we're still on the same one. Okay, what about wholesalers? Well, I was a wholesaler. You can never, ever discount a happy wholesaler who loves these products. They may be saying, what if? They may be watching you because you sponsored them, and they may be ordering these products every single month, and they may see you getting this incentive or getting a paycheck or whatever you're talking about and wondering, what if this could be for me? Have you ever asked them, what if you could do this? You could do this with me. Every wholesaler, have you asked them if they wanted to do this with you? What would that look like for you and your family? Asking them, what would it look like for you and your family to get your products paid for? Okay? Or just sharing. We have 4 colors in this business. You either want to help people, you want to be a part of a community that has a lot of fun, the perks, the parties, the team dinners, just the fun that we have. You absolutely love the research or the details behind this company, network marketing, and this business. Or, or you're totally driven, organized, focused, and would like to earn money, and you're motivated by money. Okay? So you fit into one of those categories. If you know your wholesalers in which category they might fall in, you can always lead that way, but you don't have to. You need to give them permission to dream. And I have to give Ashley Moline credit for this, because I have said this over and over and over on my team or on my welcome calls. It's something that Emily Fennell taught me. We give people permission to dream. And when I told Ashley Moline that, like, you could just see it click for her. That girl named her team page Permission to Dream. Like, I remember her starting that call. She's like, no, I'm not interested in sharing. By the time we got off that call, I'm pretty sure she made a post that night or the next day, because you just have the opportunity to give people permission to dream. And I've heard Ashley's why. I've heard stories through Shannon about Ashley. And you guys, I'm not trying to just pinpoint certain people out, but I'm telling you, people can connect to that, right? That was me. I was on a welcome call, and it wasn't even the big dream. It was, I need these products and I need to stay on them. I have to get them paid for in order to be on these products. And so that's why I started sharing. And then I got the products paid for, and then it was like, oh, well, if I could make $500 a month, I'll feel a lot less guilty getting my nails done and that a little extra I spend at Target. And now I walk into Target being able to go up and down the aisles and figuring out, hey, I can get this today, or that's okay if I buy that for my child without any guilt. And my husband is saying hi. We're out of ProBio. He needs it for the kids.
You don't have any ProBio.
Yes, we do. There's one right there. Lastly, just remember that wholesalers, like I said, they all deserve a welcome call, okay? I just had a welcome call tonight. It's all product-based. You guys, I am not someone who thinks that the business has to be sold on a welcome call. But I will tell you, I think it's so important, if you have a wholesale customer that you want to stay on these products for at least 90 days, to get on the phone and talk about these products. Talk about expectations and talk about the potential. All I ever say is, are you here for your health? Would you like to get your products paid for, or would you like to earn some extra cash? Kind of get a feel from people. If they're like, oh no, I'm just here for myself. Okay, great. Well, let me tell you something. This business is amazing. It may not be for you, and that's okay, but you might have a friend or family member who's going to ask you about what you're doing. You may look healthier. You may have more energy. You may feel great, and it organically happens. What do you do when someone asks you? Well, guess what? This is like, say I'm having a call with Shannon. I'm going to say, well, Shannon is here for you. If you have someone who's interested, you have a website, just start a 3-way chat with Shannon, and she'll be able to help you get your first customer. We don't expect you to know these products, this business opportunity, or how it works. We just know that if this works for you and you're happy about it, it organically, you share. So we can always do a second, I always say a part 2 welcome call, where we talk about the business and the breakdown of the finances, and then get into a why. I always try to get into a why. If it's on a full welcome call and I know they're interested in the business, I will talk about the why in that first welcome call. I'll figure out, well, what would it mean to you to make $500, $1,000, and kind of dig a little bit deeper. I don't get into it too much. That's something the sponsor can do later on. But in order for them to get off that call and make that first post, they've got to be motivated. They've got to have something to want to do that. Okay? So the why starts from the very beginning. And how do you find your why? Focus on the 5 things: your kids, your spouse, the freedom, your health, your faith. And there's a lot more, obviously, but those are the first 5 you can start with. Why needs to be intense. It needs to be urgent, because if it's not urgent, you're going to be here 3 years later in the same place you are right now. Now, I am not saying that's a bad thing. If your why is not strong enough and it's not urgent, but you're still here, that's awesome. You are getting something that is fulfilling you and bringing you joy, whether it's team calls or motivational books or inspiration or just the team culture. If you're here for that and that's enough for you, that's okay. Stay here. We love you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you guys have a why that is deep, you will hit those next goals. You will hit the next ranks and you will hit those next levels that you were looking to get to. But let it be deeply personal, okay? I'm going to get to mine in a little bit and how personal it is. But it needs to be deeply personal because it's going to change and it's going to evolve. And if it doesn't change over time, where you're at right now, your why has to be different than where it was 6 months ago. Because if it's not, then your why wasn't strong enough 6 months ago or you'd be in a different place right now. Okay? So it needs to be intense, be urgent, because you got to have that timeline, be deeply personal, and it needs to move you. Move you not only in emotion, but move you as in get some action going behind you. Okay? So we can take a few minutes later. I want you guys to do this later. I do want to hit some things at the end. I don't want to keep you on all night, but I do want you guys thinking about this why. We're going to have some follow-up with it, so we'll get to that. But I want for 1 minute for you guys to close your eyes, and I can see you all, so you got to do it. Take your hand and grip your why. Even if you think of like, oh, my baby's in there, or my husband's in there, or a paycheck's in there. Whatever is in that fist, grip it. Okay? See, I can't even talk. We are very busy people. We are overwhelmed. We have teams. We have families, relationships, uplines, downlines, sidelines. We are managing relationships. So many things are pulling your attention away. If you want to keep moving forward in this company, or even move just a little bit, you have to have a why that deeply moves you. If you don't feel anything when you're gripping this why, it's not deep enough. Just think about that. I know it feels weird, but if you're sitting there going, I have no clue why I'm on this team call, or I have no clue why I'm doing this, that's okay too. But if you're sitting there going, yes, I know exactly what this is. I know exactly what this is in my fist. Then you need to open your eyes. You can write it down, record it on a video, put it next to your computer, revisit it weekly, daily if you need to, and focus on it in challenging times. Use it to keep on course and avoid distractions. But the most important is you need to share it. If you have a why that's only for you, you're not going to go anywhere. People do this business not because of what you do, but why you do it. The business and the products. If you didn't watch that video, again, I'm going to put it in the comments of this afterwards, but that video that was shared before was really good just to really look at the core of how people purchase things. And they will purchase if they see you have a purpose. And it's not a begging, and it's not a, hey, please support me. I'm trying, I would like to make some extra money for my family. No, it's not about that. It's the bigger picture, letting them see the big picture. You can still sprinkle and post on social media about your products, about your journey, but the why has to be behind it. And if we can, as a team, make a transformation in our posts that is more about the why, people will start to deeply connect with you. They will see the urgency, they will see the passion, and they will really feel what it is that you want, what you're working for. So you need a story to tell your why. What was the moment? And so the first part of this was truthfully my story and how I created it at training. And I need to tighten it up a bit and practice it, but it was really only the second time I practiced it. I practiced it at training and practiced it with you guys. But really, when we talk, and again, this is the Kendra Hall storytelling, but you guys, you put a room of 40 emeralds in, and it is a constant tear jerking of these stories. But it's because we all had a why at some point. I mean, you just can't get to emerald without a why, right? But we all had a why at some point, and either we lost it, because that happens, or it just got fiery. It just got more and deeper, and it really was developed. But the short of this is thinking about your story and how you started. You could have just joined us, watching this recording like 2 weeks ago. Most of people on here I know have been around for a year or two. But your story has to have emotion, and it has to have purpose in sharing it. It's not like a book where you need a beginning, a middle, and an end. I never really told you guys like beginning, middle, of end. It's what the normal was before, what's the explosion of how something happened in your life, and what's your new normal, right? And I didn't get to the new normal part. That's the part I still need to work on. But you really can talk about what that, like, start with your explosion of, okay, this is how I felt, or this is what was different. And then you can create the beginning of like, okay, this was my old normal and this is my new normal, right? Like, that's how you tell your story. It's not, well, 2.5 years ago, guys, this is all I've ever done. 2.5 years ago, I started with pink drink because I needed a little energy. And then you've already lost people. But if you start with, well, picture this. I was sitting on the couch with my 4 kids. Like, people start picturing it. And I've listened to Kendra Hall over and over and over, but it wasn't until I got to practice it with my own story that it really connected with me. So this is something I would love to do with especially all my level ones. I would really love to help you walk through this and make that connecting piece. And hopefully then you can do this with your level ones and on down. This, I hope, is something that's duplicatable. But I know it's going to take time. I know it's not going to be something that's going to be done next week, okay? But what I want you to understand is that you have the opportunity to like move people with your story. And again, that's what's the heart behind your why. People are going to connect to this. Takes the focus off of you and puts it on other people. That attracts people. When it's no longer about you and it's about other people, people want to follow you, right? So if you haven't shared your why, do it tonight after the Zoom. Think about it. Write it down. Go live for 4 minutes. Make a post. Think about it, write it, share it with your upline. If you haven't even started and your upline needs to do it, like share with your upline, share it with them. Just know that it can evolve, right? I've already told you all I wanted was my products to pay for, okay? Then I wanted a little bit of extra income, and I got that. And then there was some time in there in between of just really wanting to like boost the income so that we could help possibly get a new car. And fortunately we did, but 4 months later we got a Lexus, which was great too. But we didn't think that was coming as fast as it was. And so we did get a new car. But it really, my why evolved, truthfully, over time. And where it's at now is so, so different. So most of you don't know, but I come from a really small town in Illinois. My parents, you're back there. All my family's there. My dad's a farmer. My mom's a banker. They're going to be hopefully retired in 3 years. And they're going to be done, right? How great is that? Well, guess what? My parents haven't traveled hardly at all. I went to Disney World in Orlando for the first time. And I texted my parents a picture. Shannon was there. And she texted me back, my mom, and said, both my kids have made it to see Mickey. My dreams have come true. Well, guess what? My mom has never been to Disney World. She's barely been anywhere. My parents don't have a lot of money. And I didn't grow up with a lot of money. This was not my why the least bit when I started this business. But it can be now. It can be now. And I can be a diamond. And I can share my wealth with my family and many other people and give back to my parents what I never could a long time ago, or never could have a while ago if I hadn't started Plexus. It's still to retire my husband. It's still there. But I also know that my driving force had to be deeper because my husband has a good job. And he may not want to retire one day, but we know he can be home with us more. But that's not deep enough for me. And I had to figure this out last week at training. And I dug hard to the point that, you guys, I dug in like just my memory bank. And I remember my Christmases growing up were paid for by my dad trapping raccoons and coyotes and selling fur so they could give us a Christmas. They didn't make enough money, but that's what he did to give me a Christmas, me and my brother. And so it's something that it may sound like, wow, she's crazy, or she had to dig really deep, or this just doesn't make a lot of sense. And you guys, you don't have to connect to my why. You just have to connect to yours. And I know no matter how long it takes me to get to Diamond, I'm still going to give my parents and my family and those that are less fortunate way more than I ever could have as a stay-at-home mom with my 4 kids. I'm still a stay-at-home mom. I'm still ministering to them. I'm still here. But I work for this. I work and continue to so that I can have all those things that my why drives me to. So when I'm in a slump, I give you permission to kick me in my rear and remind me of my why. Because I've been in a slump. It's exhausting to go emerald, but it's fun. But it gets hard. And I needed a new swift kick in the rear. And training did that for me. And I told people, I've talked to a lot of people that last week, I came back a new person, y'all. And I couldn't explain it. I still can't explain it without a lot of tears. But my heart's bigger for this company and this business and this team. But there's so much up here that I don't know how to apply it. But I also realized that if we as a team did not get back to our whys, we would be lost over these next 6 weeks and these next 2 months and going into the new year. If we have the why now, it's going to drive us through these crazy times in this hard season of holidays and into the new year, which I know is amazing because January to March is the best time of our year, of our business. So give yourself permission to dream. Dream bigger than you've ever dreamt before. We need permission to be able to do that. Sometimes it's hard to do that for ourselves. Sometimes our spouses don't do that for us. Sometimes our parents think we're crazy. There's a lot of people who don't believe in you, but I do. Your upline does. You got to believe in yourself. The first why has to be personal about you and your family. And you have to get to a point where you've achieved your why and you don't want anything else. You have to dream bigger. And that was me. I got to Emerald. And I was very happy to get to Emerald. And my why quickly shifted to my team. My team is still my why, y'all. Like I'm telling you, like I know goals. I know what people want. And that's my drive. But I can't wake up in the morning and work because that's what I want for you. I love you all. I have to get up in the morning and work because I want something for me personally and for my family. Okay? So as you reach each why, create another one and make them even bigger. And when you don't obviously have a why that evolves, you become complacent, attrition sets in, and your team will duplicate that. Okay? And I've seen it. I've seen it on this team, and I own it. I own it. We were adding on a monthly basis from April to July in the upwards of 50 to 75 people a month. We've gone from 40 to 30, and we're at like 16 right now. And I'm not saying that is just me or our team. Yes, the back office. There's a lot that's going on. I get that. I'm not giving excuses for stuff. But I also kind of feel like we all lost a little bit of motivation, and I'm owning it, myself included. My personal business is totally lacked because my why wasn't strong enough. It wasn't. I'd arrived. I had felt like I did it. But that just doing it to get to Emerald isn't enough anymore. I have to keep going on my personal business too. So just revisit those whys. First off, set it if you don't have one already. This opportunity is so much better than the trips, ranks, perks, and shopping sprees that you see everyone have. We get the chance to change thousands of lives. And you guys, being with diamonds make you realize that. Getting to hang out with 3 diamonds last at training, one of them being able to Melissa Eckenhorst, they've opened orphanages. There's so many other things that all of them are a part of, but you don't hear them. They're not boastful. They're not bragging. I'm a diamond and I get to do this. Sometimes you hear about the philanthropy part of it at events. That's what diamonds get to do. You can do it at Emerald, Sapphire too. You can do it at gold. Gosh, it's like, what's your dream? But what I'm saying is You can be part of something so much bigger, and it doesn't just have to be the financial aspect. So this is the video. I'll put it in the comments after the recording of this. Watch it, let your why evolve, and I want to do a Zoom next week and have people share their whys, which is going to be scary, but I promise you this is going to be a much safer zone to share your why with a team before going out and sharing it personally with others, okay? And on social media if you're ready, okay? So if your why is strong enough, you will figure out how, but you can't figure out how if you don't have a why, okay? So let me stop sharing on 1 second. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording and then we can chat some more.